All right, what is up, my peeps? Joshua Smithy with another GSD Mode podcast real estate tip, where every single week I come to you delivering different tips, tactics, and strategies to help you get shit done inside your real estate business and help you ensure that you are crushing and dominating your overall real estate goals. Also, today I'm covering up a topic that comes up so often with real estate agents, team leaders, and broker owners, which is around time management. But then within time management, more specifically, how to create your master calendar for your real estate business to ensure those essential things that you must get done each and every day, each and every week are hit. So I'm going to walk you through some very specific examples, and I'm going to do an example around, okay, if you want to go out there and list and close 4 closings per month as a real estate agent. Now, even though I'm going to be giving examples for real estate agents, everything I'm going to walk you through applies to agents, team leaders, brokerage owners. Doesn't matter what level that you're at in your real estate business, whether you're in production, out of production, focus on operations, whatever. This stuff is extremely important, right? So, because when it comes to time management really doesn't exist. There's 24 hours in a day, 168 hours in a week. We cannot control that fact. What it comes down to is choice management and how we utilize or choose to utilize our time in the most effective and efficient manner. But then from there, it's like, hey, man, it's so easy for shit to get forgotten. So easy to get distracted. We are now in the information age that we are in. Man, there's a bazillion things pulling us in different different directions. And there's so many distractions. Like, we almost got to be operating like horses with the blinders on and just staying laser focused. So this stuff is going to help you stay on task, help you remove and eliminate those distractions, live and die by your calendar, let you know what you got to get done. Look, we got to quit being busy and we got to start being productive. You know, so many people are spending so much time being busy and not being productive that they it's not like they're not putting energy and effort and hours into their business. They're just getting no results because they're focusing on the wrong shit. So this is going to help ensure that you are staying laser focused, operating like a horse again with those blinders on, removing those distractions, and again, ensuring that you are getting that essential shit that you need to get done daily, weekly, monthly inside your real estate business. All right, so before we jump in and do a deep dive into this real quick, look, if you are a real estate agent, if you are a team leader, if you are a brokerage owner, maybe your business is not exactly where you want it to be or know where it could be. It's like you're operating down here, but your potential is way up here, and you just do not know exactly what to do to get from where you're at to where you want to go. If that is you, I invite you to schedule a 100% free, 100% zero pressure coaching strategy Zoom call with me personally. This is going to be a 1 hour long Zoom call where we're just going to focus on nothing but you and your business for an hour together. And here's what we're going to break down: where your business is currently at, what your 12-month goals are, what your long-term future vision and goals are for your real estate business, what you are currently doing, what your biggest sticking points, what your biggest obstacles are, what your biggest choke points are for you and your business. Then from there, I'm going to map out a strategy of exactly what I recommend that you do to get from where you're at to where it is that you want to go in the quickest, most effective, efficient, profitable manner possible. So if you want to take advantage of this, and look, my coaching time is typically $1,000 an hour for one of these sessions. But because of the market and what's going on, and just because of it's a way for me to give back and support all of you amazing GSD Mode peeps that have supported me so much over the years. Look, I want to pour into you. I want to help you make sure that you are dialed in, exactly knowing exactly what you got to do to go out there and crush it, kick ass, and make your goals a reality. So if this is something you want to take advantage of, go to www.gsdmode.com/Zoom call. You're going to pick a time, date, schedule. Now my schedule, these are filling up fast. So it might take a week or two to get on my calendar here. So I recommend that you do this sooner than later so we can get you on the calendar, get you dialed in. Just make sure that you show up. Once you book it, there's going to be a video with some instructions, a deeper breakdown of how this call is going to go, some things to give you some insight on how to prep for this call. So as soon as you book it, make sure to watch that entire video. It's only a few minutes. And then from there, make sure to show up, right? Which I'm going to talk about in that video. I've got a very strict no-show policy. So if you no-show me on these, I'm not going to help you again for free, right? So again, if you want to schedule that, www.gsdmode.com/Zoom call. All right, so let's break down again. Talk about time management, more specifically, how to create your overall master calendar. All right, so step one with this, because we're going to break down your day, what those KPIs are, meaning KPIs are just key performance indicators. What are those numbers that you must be hitting every single day inside your business to ensure that you are on target to making your goals a reality, right? So many people in our industry, they have big dreams, goals, and visions, but they think if I just show up every day and if I just work hard, it's going to get me there. Nope. It's not. Not saying you're not going to have to show up. Not saying you're not going to have to work hard. But look, I do not care how hard you are sprinting. If you are sprinting east, chasing the sunset, you're never going to see it. There's no shortage of hardworking, committed people in our industry that are broke is a mother effing joke, right? So there's no shortage of that. So hard work alone is enough. We got to be very intelligent. We got to be, well, I say intelligent, like you don't need to have a high IQ or be extremely intelligent to create success, but we've got to operate with an element of intelligence. So an element of intentionality, an element of intentional strategy when it comes to our overall business. Okay, so step number one, and all these, I'm going to break down 5 different things with you here, or 6 different things with you here today. All 6 of these are extremely crucial when it comes to this. So not, one is not more important than the other, but the first thing that we're going to break down is, look, we want to add. So we're talking about your master calendar, building out your master calendar. So first thing that we want to do when we're looking at our calendars, we want to add those reoccurring, essential, extremely important things that must be done each and every week, or sometimes in each and every day, to our overall calendar. So I'm going to give some examples, right? And think of this, like, don't think of this as just, okay, well, I'm going to dial in my schedule for my our business life, but then I'm not going to my personal life. My personal life is just going to be a shit show. No, dude, like, I'm not a fan of this whole concept or thought of work-life balance. And I'm not saying that you got to work 24/7. What I'm saying here is it's all life. So let's just learn to integrate it, right? So, okay, if I operate, because it's all time, so then let me operate the same way my business is I do in my personal life, meaning we're going to learn to live and die by our calendar, right? And just like, look, there's shit we got to do in our personal life. There's shit that we got to do in our business. So any of those things, especially those, daily, weekly, reoccurring things that are absolutely essential, I'm going to get those committed to my calendar and have those showing up at specific time slots that reoccur every day, every week, and so forth. So, let's look at, okay, personal stuff. Maybe you got to pick up and drop off your kids from school. Maybe you have certain kids, okay, like every single Monday, every single Wednesday, I got to be there for my son's soccer practice. I got to take him home for my son's soccer practice. So, okay, that's on my calendar every single week, same time slot. It's just always on there, so not just that I don't forget, but then it's just always on there. All right, so then from there, now let's talk about some very common business stuff that should be on your master calendar. Now, this is going to be more examples. Again, if you are in production, I know some of you that are watching this are, team leaders or broker owners, maybe you're not in production like myself anymore, but again, just thinking about, okay, what are those things that I got to do daily, weekly, monthly that need to be reoccurring on my calendar? So the examples I'm going to give those, because I know most of you are probably in production, working with buyers, working with sellers, and trying to grow that aspect of your business. Okay, so let's just say, okay, like you have your listing client updates. Okay, so I got these listings, active listings with my clients that are not yet under contract. Okay, when do I update those clients? Like, are you just going to wing it? Are you just going to let them chase you down for updates? Right? Like, I have a philosophy inside my business where if a client has to reach out to me for an update, that means I already failed them on communication. We should be updating our clients in such a strategic, consistent way where they never have to reach out to me for an update. So every single one of my listing clients, and they are told this on the listing presentation as soon as they become a client, every single one of them gets a very detailed report every single Tuesday before the end of that business day. And they're given the rhyme to the reason as to why it's on Tuesday. They're told exactly what's going to be included in that report and what that breakdown is, so they know what to expect, when to expect it. And look, people are going to feel better and safer with you when they know how and when to expect the communication from you. So, okay, every single Thursday, then boom, I have that blocked off my calendar so I can make sure to update them, but then I have the time to get those updates together. So it's like, okay, boom, that's on my calendar every single Tuesday, listing clients that are not under contract, meaning, it's an active listing, not under contract. Okay, that's going to be on my master calendar for reoccurring time. Then every single buyer and seller client that is under contract, okay, for me, it's every Tuesday and every Friday before end of business day, they're getting a detailed update, and this is all communicated to them. They know what's up. They know what to expect. Hey, every Tuesday, every Friday before end of business day, you're going to get a detailed update of where we're at, what's going on. They're told what's going to be in that report. Now, of course, they are also told if there's anything urgent, anything important, I'm going to get in touch with them immediately. So just assuming that everything's smooth sailing, everything's going great, they know they're going to get an updated report from me by this time every Tuesday, every Friday. Okay, boom. That's going to be marked off on my reoccurring master calendar. Okay, then from there, okay, every one of my buyer clients not under contract, that is also not on my calendar. Because, okay, like, and how do we define a buyer client? So you can define it however you want to define it. For me in my business, it's signed buyer broker agreement, proof of funds, and or pre-qualification, right? That otherwise I look at it, maybe I got a buyer broker agreement, but they're not qualified. Maybe I got them qualified, but we don't have a buyer broker agreement. I look at that as that's just a lead that we're choosing to take some, high risk with. So for me, buyer client, buyer broker agreement signed, buyer agency signed, pre-qualification or proof of funds. Okay, well then what's the next step for me to get them under contract? Well, I got to get them on my calendar to go out there and show properties too, right? So if they're buyer client and they're not scheduled on my calendar, then to go look at properties, then from there, every Monday, every Thursday, they get a specific follow-up message from me to try to get them on my calendar so we can go look at homes, so we can keep this, this process moving forward. So those are some, things that are going to be, on my reoccurring calendar. So just think of, again, what are those essential reoccurring activities that happen daily, weekly, monthly that need to be on my calendar that can be time blocked off. So that way, everybody, you're getting the same experience. Everybody knows what's up. This will also save you, not will only ensure that you're knocking these things out and doing these things consistently, because like the number one complaint, I know we're talking a lot here about communication with clients, but the number one complaint from buyers and sellers about real estate agents is the lack of communication. So I'm going to make sure that I nail this, right? I want to make sure this is a great experience. So many agents are like, oh man, I got to go above and beyond with all this shit. I got to go out there and, do some, fancy closing gifts. And it's like, no, dude, it's just doing the basic shit, but just doing it really well. And communication, very important when people are buying or selling the largest asset of their lifetime. Very important that they're always extremely up to date of what's going on, why it's going on, what the next steps are, and again, we got to communicate to them as to how we're going to communicate, why we're communicating this way, when they can expect those communications. And this also saves me a bunch of time because I don't have clients always chasing me down, which if they're chasing you down, that means you already failed them with communication because they already have a fear. They're unknown. They don't know what's going on. Yeah, right. So then from there, this also allows me to structure this where, okay, I go to my title company partners. I go to my lender partners. Now, if I got to get my clients an update every Tuesday and every Friday before end of business day, okay, I'm going to go to my title company partners, my lender partners and be like, okay, every single Monday before end of business day, every single Thursday before end of business day, I want a detailed report, a detailed update of what's going on with every one of my clients that I fed you. Right. So like I tell my vendor partners, man, if I ever have to reach out to you and beg you down and chase you down for an update of a client that I sent you, that I spoon fed you, dude, you're on my shit list. This is what I expect. If you want to work with me, like this is what my expectations are, so then I have the data that I need to then get that over to my client. I'm not having to chase them down, just like my clients shouldn't have to be chasing me down. Okay. So step number one is adding those reoccurring daily activities. Now, this could also be, what time do you need to wake up every day? What time do you need to start getting ready and going to bed every single night? What time are you working out every day? Like any of those consistent, reoccurring, essential activities, boom, get it committed to the calendar. Okay, so the second step here is making sure that you have your business and strategy plan dialed in to ensure that your goals become a reality, right? So when I talk about a business plan and strategy plan, this is going to, okay, let's just say you want to close 48 units. You want to go out there, make $500,000, close 48 units, over the next 12 months. Okay, well, we know how many closings, right? Obviously commissions. Then from there, okay, how much energy and effort is it going to take? What strategy is, okay, what are the, sources that I'm going after? Then from there, how much energy and effort, and this is what an effective business and strategy plan should do. So I could break this down annually, monthly, weekly, daily. So I know what those daily key performance indicators are that I must hit each and every single day. So you got to make sure that that's dialed in. So then we can get those things and allow for that time on our calendar. So that's number two. Okay. So number three then is deal in realities with your schedule, based on your business schedule, your personal schedule, all the shit that we got going on, because we got commitments outside of business, we got commitments within business. How many hours are you able and truly committed to be able to work? What days? Like this way we know what your schedule is, so we know what this time allotment is. Yeah, right. So then we can sit there and start plugging in the pieces with this. So deal in realities with your schedule. Again, understand how many hours a week can you truly allocate to your business? How many hours do you need to allocate to non-business stuff? All of this. Okay, so then that allows us, now that we have those two things put into place that we just discussed on number 2 and number 3, that then allows us to build out that daily schedule, that daily plan. Now we got our reoccurring that we already talked about from our monthly, weekly, daily stuff. But then now it's like, okay, we got those, but then what are the key things that we must hit each and every single day? Now we can start structuring kind of the perfect day, when it comes to this. So let's just say, as I said earlier on this, I'm going to build this out. If you want to go out there and get 4 listings a month and close, 48 units a year, right? And just pretending that everything that you list sales, or you're going to get other deals off these listings. So, so I know that not every listing that you list is going to go out there and sell, but let's just pretend that, okay, if I list 48 homes a year, I'm going to get some of those dual side. I'm going to get some buyer leads off those. I got sphere of influence, past client deals coming in. So let's just, assume that 48, 4 listings a month is going to equate your 48 deals a year. So a listing a week. Okay. So here would be then a sample schedule. Okay. 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. I get in the office at 6 a.m. or start, home office, business office. I know not everybody can do this. So I'm just giving this as an example, not saying that you have to do this. You can change your hours around. It doesn't matter so much what the hours are, the shit gets done. It's just that this shit gets done. But this is the schedule I would follow, right? So 6 a.m. in the office, and not just in the office, I'm at my workstation and I'm executing on this shit at 6 a.m. So maybe that means I got to get my office at 6:45 a.m., get everything warmed up, get everything on, get everything rock and roll. So from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., okay, I'm doing any important emails that I got to fire off in that morning, shit that maybe came in from the night before. So I'm knocking out any important emails. Okay, then I'm going to be updating my CRM, any leads that maybe came in the night before, anything I got to do on my CRM, whether it be, emails out or text message on myself, like anything that doesn't have to do with calls. Then from there, is there anything miscellaneous, important things, paperwork or anything that came in that I need to get done that needs that, immediate urgency? That way it gives me kind of 2 hours for triage early in the morning of anything that's really important. I just got to get done that maybe came in from the evening before while I was sleeping, whatever. Then from there, I'm going to get ready for my call time, my intentional follow-up prospecting time, right? So then by 8 a.m., boom, I am just in follow-up mode. I've got all the, key shit done that I got to get done now. From 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., boom, I am just hitting my follow-up calls and my prospecting time. So let's just say if I'm going after 4 new listings a month, so okay, hey, I'm on the dialer by 8 a.m. So 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., I'm on that dialer, have 100 reach outs, 10 conversations at a minimum in that 2-hour window. So then from there, because that's going to ensure I hit the KPIs that I need to get a listing a week. Then from there, let's just say 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. That's my sphere of influence, past client follow-up time. Then 10:30 to noon, 10:30 a.m. to noon, that's where I'm doing any paperwork, client updates, other, important emails or important essential shit, not wasted time, essential things that are moving the needle forward inside my real estate business. Then that way, getting all those core key things that move the needle forward the most in my business, I want to always have those done before noon, regardless whether I'm an agent, team leader, broker, owner. That's how I just structure it, right? So I want to have all those key things that are making the biggest impact on my business, get those knocked out and get those things done before noon. And for a couple of reasons, right? The most important productive activities are usually ones that we don't like to do the most, right? So you can have more willpower earlier in the day. Plus the longer the day goes on, the more distractions, the more fires come up, whatever. So I'm going to make sure it's like Brian Tracy's eat your frog first, get all that shit done. That way noon on is what I call pounding pavement time. So noon on is going to be like all my listing presentations, buyer consultations, showing properties, meet with clients to get things signed, right? And then if I don't have any listing appointments, buyer appointments, agent recruiting appointments, any of that stuff, right now it's more prospecting, lead gen, social media content creation time, right? Just like if I don't have actual client time or appointment time, I'm going to have fillers where it's more prospecting time, more lead gen time, more content creation time. Like I'm never going to have down dead time, right? So, and then from there, okay, we're going to have our end time, right? So let's just say at this point, okay, I'm going to end at 6 p.m. every single evening, and then maybe 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. is family time. And then boom, maybe at 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. is self-development, go to bed at 9. Then I'm getting up at 4 or 5 to repeat the next day, whatever that is, right? And I know everybody's schedule is going to be different. Well, Josh, I can't follow that schedule. My schedule doesn't permit that. Like, look, I'm giving examples here So you can, because it is nuance. It's going to be different for all of us based on all of our different unique scenarios, situations. Schedules are very situational. You got to deal in realities. It's like I'll tell people, okay, yeah, I closed 48 deals in my first year, 103 my second, out of the gate, sort of hitting it. But I'm like, look, put that into context. I was 23 years old. I wasn't married. I didn't have kids. At 42 years old, which I am, right now, married, 3 kids. Okay, my schedule probably would look a little bit different today if I were jumping into real estate, getting a business than it did back then. And maybe I wouldn't close the same unit count my first year out of the gate because my situation is different, right? So this is why, comparison sometimes can be a negative thing. I guess sometimes people are like, man, I wish why didn't I close as many as you did? I'm like, I don't know. Right. Like, look, dude, like here's the reality of it, man. I was 23 again. I wasn't married, didn't have kids. I could freaking just do nothing but work 7 days a week, and that was a different phase of my life. So we got to put things in context sometimes, right? So this is where we have to deal in realities, right? Like sometimes I'll get new agents who are like, oh, I want to close 100 deals my first year, make $1 million my first year, whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. Like start breaking down the schedule for them. I had a gentleman that did, I helped him with on one of these free coaching calls the other day with this, young dude. I'm like, okay, look, dude, you're going to have to probably work 7 days a week, 17-hour days. Like, is this what you really want? Like, this is possible. You can do 100 units your first year and make $1 million based on his average. I'm like, this is possible. But here's this. I want you to be clear on the sacrifices you're going to have to, make to make this a reality. Because here's what this looks like. The rest is just fucking math. Yeah, right. I'm like, here's what we got to hit. Here's what, are you willing to be on this dialer for, I can't remember what the time frame was, but let's just, assume it was, 4 hours a day. Are you willing to do this? Are you willing to do, right? Like a lot of people talk a lot of shit, right? Oh, I'm not saying that he was, right? I don't know if he executed on these things or not. Haven't, followed up with him since, that free coaching call. I have time to follow up with him on this shit, but I gave him the roadmap. I'm like, all right, dude, like go execute, go do this. Right. And if you want to, this happens a lot where, I'll be talking with people like, is this possible? I'm like, yeah, it's possible. It's all possible. It's just going to kind of, I'll give you the roadmap. It just comes down to, are you full of shit or do you really want it? And sometimes maybe we're not necessarily full of shit, but we're just not dealing in realities of our true situation, with our other commitments and like maybe you only have 6 hours a week or 6 hours a day to work. This is where it's very nuanced, very situational, right? So this is why we got to break this stuff down and build this out. This is why I'm going through all these different points for you so you can kind of build this out and factor this and deal in realities and set realistic plans based on what your commitments are for real estate, what your commitments are outside of real estate, right? It's very situational. Okay, so step number 5 is going to be your daily reflection, planning, and executing. So every single day, you're going to plan out your day the night before. Then from there, at the end of your day, take 20 minutes at the end of your day, and you're going to reflect, okay, here's all the things I needed to get done to make today a win. Here's how many reach outs, here's how many conversations, here's how many appointments set, here's all the shit I had to get done today to make today a win. Now I'm going to reflect on that. Did I actually get it done? How did I do? Were there any distractions that I allowed to steal my time, steal my energy, steal my money, steal, whatever, because if somebody's stealing your time, they're stealing your money. If somebody's stealing your time, you are allowing them to go into your personal cash register, your kids' bank accounts, and stealing their money, right? Like, so we got to assess this, right? So while it's fresh, and this is why I like to do this at the end of the day after I'm done executing and I've finished my workday, I'm reflecting on, okay, how did I do? Did I get everything done that I needed to get done? And if I had any distractions or if anything came up that was a waste of my time, okay, I'm going to reflect on it. I'm going to learn from it to hopefully ensure that that doesn't rob my time, energy, and attention again. Then from there, the things that were a good use of my time, I'm going to break down and look at, okay, is there anything that I could have done to be more effective and efficient at those things, right? So I'll just give you guys an example. Let's just say you're having people that, you're I don't know, you're trying to set an appointment with or whatever, or you're following up with trying to book them as a client, whatever. And they're like, well, I just want to think about it. I'll get back to you. Okay, yeah, no problem. And then next thing you know, it's just a whole chase thing. They're not getting back to you. I'm going to chase them down. Okay, well, how could you get a little bit more effective and efficient at that? Okay, so instead of before I let them go, hey, they're like, hey, I'll get back to you. Okay, yeah, that sounds great. Understand that. Hey, I'm not sure if I'm just going to randomly be available. My schedule's pretty busy, as I'm sure that yours is as well. So maybe let's do this. I got my calendar pulled up. What's a good time for us to follow up in the next couple days? So then we can just get on the calendar and I'll just reach out to you and check in there. So boom, okay, hey, I got this time available the next couple of days. Which one of those work for you? So then I get on the calendar. Now we've just removed that whole chase mode, and I've just saved myself maybe an hour of fucking extra chase mode follow-up time. All those little things add up, right? So, but while it's fresh, is there anything I could do to get more effective and more efficient at this thing? So while it's fresh, we're reflecting on it, we're getting more effective. So this is going to allow you to get from the day, not get through the day. Most people are just getting through the day, man. This is why they need fucking Netflix or just wasting time on dumb scrolling on social media, or why a lot of people need alcohol or other drugs or substances or food, comfort food, because they're just trying to get through the day. They're not intentionally getting from it. Every day allows you for an opportunity to grow. And do not self-sabotage yourself. Don't be like, oh man, I was just a loser today. I just sucked. I just need to get better. That does not help you. Remove emotions from it. Here's just what happened. Why did it happen? How can I prevent it from happening again? Or if it was something that's great, how do I go out there and keep this happening again? Right. And then from there, part of my reflection is, I reflect through all the things that I do, right? Because that's how you accelerate your learning process, is through reflection. So let's just say you get done with a listing presentation and you're like, holy shit, that was fucking amazing. I just crushed it. I just killed it. Like you're walking out there on cloud number 9. You're like, hell yeah, man. I was the man. I was the woman on that listing presentation. Like we've all had, an area of our life where that's happened, right? Okay, well, a very powerful reflection exercise. Like, okay, like before I leave that listing, like, okay, I'll leave the house so I don't look like a freak and sitting out there in their driveway, for an hour, right? Or not the driveway, but in front of their house. I'll go pull around the corner, right down the street, and then I'll pull out my notebook and I start reflecting while that was fresh. Okay, what happened? I'm going to replay those tapes step by step of what took place during that listing presentation, because there was something within your process, your energy, how you prep for it, how you presented, how you flowed, right? You're going to learn from those. So then it's like, okay, when you have those massive wins, okay, well, let's chunk this down into a process. So now I can replicate that every single time. Because what true winners do is they figure out what they did to win, and then they make sure that they win every freaking time, or the vast majority of the time, right? So this is why that reflection piece is so important. Then once the reflection piece is done, then we're going to plan out the next perfect day. That, okay, here's the numbers I got to hit. Here's what I got to do. Like, here's what I got to do to make tomorrow win. Boom, got it planned out, got it committed to my calendar. Then I just got to execute. So this is what I call it: reflect, plan, execute. Right? We're reflecting on what we just did, what we got done. We're getting from the day, not getting through it, planning out the next perfect day. So then now I just got to execute. I don't have to think. Here's the time I got to wake up. Here's the first thing I got to do, second thing I got to do, third thing I got to do, fourth thing I got to do. I'm just executing. If you ever get to that point where you're like, oh man, I'm going to work hard today. I show up at the office, like I'm committed. I'm going to work hard today, man. I'm going to get shit done. And then you're like, what am I going to do? You've already lost that day. And you're going to lose, right? Like, like that is a losing plan. That is a losing strategy. Right. So we don't want to do that. You never want to enter a day without having it fully committed to paper first. Then the sixth step here is make sure, and this is just kind of a repetitive, thing that I've already been saying, but you want to make sure that you are living and dying by your calendar, right? If it isn't, if like it's when I say like, if it's hey on my calendar, doesn't exist. It's like I'm not going to operate off to-do list. I operate off my calendar, right? Like, okay, because anything on my to-do list needs to get transferred on my calendar, lives in a time slot. So I ensure that shit gets done, right? So this is how we go out there and set up our master calendar. These are the processes that we do on a daily, ongoing basis. And I've never met any human being in my life, real estate or otherwise, in other industries, that if they're diligent on doing this, that has a time management problem. Time management problems exist from those that are unintentional, those that are lackadaisical, those that don't have the right plan, the right strategy, that are just winging it, right? That allow your time to just get robbed, right? Like if you're like, oh, I had a time management issue. No, dude, you got a focus issue, right? Like you're allowing things to rob your time, energy, and attention. You have a focus and a strategy issue, right? So we got to know that, we got to understand that, so we can get that shit fixed and get that shit dialed in. Because there's no reason why this shit should take that long, right? But what happens is, like when I see people that are, closing, let's just say 2 deals a month, and they're like, oh, time management is the issue. I'm working 24/7. And I'm not arguing that they're not, but I'm like, dude, 2 deals a month, you should be doing that part-time pretty easy. And when I say that, it's, not like, look, 2 deals a month, part-time, as long as you're intentional, but we got to refine all of this stuff in. I'm not trying to discount the fact that you're not, if that's you, I'm not saying that you're not running like crazy right now. I'm sure that you are, but you're running like crazy because you're not being intentional with this stuff. You're not being strategic with this stuff. You're probably running ragged right now because you don't have process, you don't have systems. You're letting clients run you ragged versus like, you're having clients leading you versus you leading the process. You're probably allocating your time on wrong things, wrong strategies, right? Like all of this stuff just refines this and pulls this together and allows you to become effective, efficient, high producing, freaking badass machine. All right. So I hope that you found this helpful. And again, for those of you that want to take your real estate business to the next level and want to schedule a 100% free coaching Zoom strategy session with me personally, 100% free, zero pressure coaching call with me, so we can make sure that we get you dialed in, whatever your goals are, man. I got your back. I got you covered. I don't care if you're an agent, team leader, brokerage owner, whether you're new or you're looking to go out there and scale this thing to the moon and you just do not know exactly what to do to get you from where you're at to where it is that you want to go. I got your back. I got you covered. Schedule your 100% free coaching call with me personally. It's going to be a 1 hour long Zoom call. We're going to break down where your business is at, what your 12-month goals are, what your long-term future vision goals are for your business, what you're currently doing, what your biggest obstacles are. Then from there, I'm going to map out, hey, here's exactly what I recommend to do to get from where you're at to where it is that you want to go, not just your 12-month goals, but also your long-term goals, right? Which we got to know. We got to put all those pieces together, right? I will make sure that you leave this call with having 100% full clarity of what you must do to get from where you're at to where it is that you want to go. So if you want to take advantage of this, go to www.gsdmode.com/Zoom call. www.gsdmode.com/Zoom call. Full disclosure, we're going to spend about 50 minutes getting all that stuff dialed in, which is way more than enough time. Then from that last 10 minutes, yes, I'm going to spend a few minutes walking you through what my coaching program is, what it entails. And look, if it's a fit for you, great. If not, that's okay too. We could still be friends. You have my word. I promise you this will still be massively powerful, massively effective for you. You will know exactly what you need to be focused on to get from where you're at to where you want to go. Everything I do is zero pressure. I'm not going to beg you. I'm not going to hard sell you. Hey, man, if you want some advanced help, cool, we can roll together. If not, that's okay too. Here's a plan. You know what to go out there and do now. Now go out there and start executing and taking action, right? So I got your back either way, and I will get you dialed in. So if you are not where you want to be and you don't know what to do and you're not taking advantage of this, this is now your fault. Because I promise you, I'll get you dialed in. Like you're drowning in quicksand. I'm throwing you the rope right now. And I'm like, dude, grab the rope. I'll yank your ass out. I'll save you. I'll yank you out. I got you, man. I got you covered. But if you choose to not grab that rope and drown in quicksand, whose fault is that? Nobody but your own. So I'm throwing you the lifeline right now, right? So again, you want to schedule this, go to www.gsdmode.com/Zoom call. If you schedule it, make sure that you show up. There's going to be a video that you watch where I walk you through after you schedule it, how to prep for this, how to get the most out of this. I walk you through my no-show policy. I've got a very strict no-show policy where if you no-show me, you're going to have a reschedule link. Something comes up, cool, reschedule. I get that. I understand that. Emergencies come up, things come up, it happens. And that's totally fine. That's a different story. I'm saying if you schedule this and then you just straight up no-show me and waste my time, then I'm never going to allow you to book one of these again. Yeah, right? Like I put you on a spreadsheet. I also have a special tag. It's coaching strategy call no-show, right? That goes on my CRM. So then from there, you're never going to get my time free again. You'll have to pay the $1,000 if you want one of these in the future, for my one-on-one coaching time. So, and I'm not saying that to be a dick, it just is what it is. I respect your time. I honor your time. I just ask you to do the same for me, which I think is a fair trade, right? Like I will pour into you. I will help you and make sure that we get you dialed in. I just ask that you respect my time. And don't waste my time where maybe I could have been hanging out with my kids, or whatever, which I'm happy to pour into you. Just show up, right? So enough said on that. All right, guys, keep crushing it, keep kicking ass. I will see you next time. Peace.